Metal Up World, this is CJ with MetalMotivation.com. Welcome to the 5-message series on living with heart. This is being shown in our Life Domination online coaching program. I always show episode 1 for free to all of you. If you'd like to learn more about how to check the rest of this out, just visit the link below. I'd love to have you in the Life Domination online coaching program. Living with heart. If there's anything that will make the difference in a man or a woman, if there's anything that will make the difference in a child, it's probably got to be heart. You probably heard the saying that it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog that makes all the difference in the world. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be professional sports. It can be in the military. It can be in any area of life. It seems to be that it's not the guy or gal that is the biggest or the strongest that necessarily wins. It's usually those who have heart. When it comes to those who survive the harshest trials of life, it tends to be those who have the strongest heart, not necessarily the strongest muscles. Endurance, patience, the ability to exercise fortitude through extended trials and suffering comes down to heart. And you're going to need to live with heart if you're going to deal with the obstructions, if you're going to deal with the resistance, if you're going to deal with the worst that life brings you. You're going to have to live with heart. And if you find yourself being triumphed over instead of triumphing, if you find yourself being overcome instead of overcoming, if you find yourself being knocked on your ass every time life hits you straight in the face, then you need to start living with heart. But you say, man, how am I going to do that? How, CJ, do I live with heart? Well, that's what this 5-message series is all about. It's about how we take you from where you are, how we take you from weakness to strength. And again, not about size or stature, prowess, position, or how much money you have or how smart you are. It's all about developing heart, because heart is the differentiating factor. If there's one thing a coach looks for in a player, it's heart. If there's one thing that makes a fighter, it's heart. More than size or status, the great equalizer and overcomer is heart. What is heart? Heart is absolute commitment. What's commitment? It's being fully dedicated to a cause or to an act without regard for loss. I want you to think about that. Heart is a level of commitment in which the threat of loss is ignored. A level of commitment in which the threat of loss is ignored. That, my friend, is heart. Do you live with heart right now in your life? Or as I said, are you being beaten? Are you being overcome? Are you easily defeated? Do you crumble over the smallest things? Are you easily stressed out? Are you easily made anxious? Are you easily made worrisome, depressed, sad? Do you get confused easily? This is all the absence of heart. Because if you had the heart, if you had the passion, if you had the desire, if you had the drive, you would push through every obstacle like a warrior. You would push through every obstacle like a champion. Nothing would stop you. You would find the resources. You would find the information. You would find the relationships. You would find the power. You would find the strength that you need to push through every obstacle. That is the power of heart. In life, there is loss and there is gain. And everything you do is driven either by the threat of loss or the possibility of gain. Take a moment to consider that. Everything that you do or don't do is driven by the threat of loss, or it's driven by the possibility of gaining something. But if you're going to prevail against the harshness of life, you're going to have to rethink your whole concept of loss and gain. What you consider to be loss and what you consider to be gain. Because in order to gain certain things, you're going to have to suffer some loss. Isn't that true? If you want to live an independent life, you're not going to have a strong relationship with anybody else. So if you're going to have to suffer some independence if you're going to gain a strong relationship. You're going to have to suffer the loss of restraint if you want to save some more money. You're going to have to suffer the loss of certain pleasures if you want to earn a degree or position. You're going to have to suffer the loss of time with friends if you're going to develop some skills. You're going to have to suffer the loss of eating all the food that you want if you're going to create the kind of body that you want. Loss and gain, sacrifice, the ability, the heart to be able to decide what loss is worth the kind of gain that you want. And this is where heart comes in, because the more you ignore the threat of loss, the more commitment will bring you your gain, right? Heart is that level of commitment in which the threat of loss is ignored. So if you've got heart for what it is that you want, then you're going to ignore those losses. You're going to ignore what the price of dieting is. You're going to ignore what the price of watching too much television is, doing whatever you want, living that life that you say you hate. You're going to ignore that when you're driven by heart driven by ignorance of the threat of loss. You just don't want to consider it, only because you're only considering that which you're going to gain. So someone with heart has the ability to exceed their stature. You ever seen the movie Rudy? This little guy who goes from nothing and gets the grades that he needs to get into Notre Dame and eventually plays with Notre Dame. It was his lifetime dream to play with Notre Dame. And he was tiny, man. He would have never qualified academically. He would have never qualified physically to play for Notre Dame. But he had heart, and heart got him what it was that he wanted. People with heart can endure trials. They can endure setbacks. Someone with heart can last longer when others give up. Heart is everything. This is why the main thing I do with Metal Motivation is to develop stronger people. I'm not so concerned with peak performance. I'm not so concerned with you improving a golf swing or whatever it is that any other motivational speaker will talk about. That's all well and good. But the people that I'm talking to, they need personal strength. They need to be able to metal up, to endure life in a messed up world. So in that sense, their greatest defense is a stronger you. That's what's going to cause you to endure, to build your personal strength. And that means living lion-hearted, man. You've got to have a strong heart. And that's the subject of these next few messages. So join me in the Life Domination online coaching program. Just visit the link below to learn more about it. It's 5 videos shown each week on a single topic in a private Facebook group, which I will administrate. The only other people in there besides me will be people just like you. So click the link below, find out more about it. I would really dig it to see you there. This is CJ, the Metal Motivator. And remember, in whatever you do, don't suck. Metal up.